So Counter-Strike 2 is finally out and people are mad about it. Not about the fact that it was released, but in which state it was. Many maps are missing, many game modes are missing, people are complaining about the anti-cheat, people are complaining about all kinds of things. But here's the catch. That's not that unusual for a new Counter-Strike game. Which doesn't mean that it is good that they released it that way, but at least that it's not that unusual for Valve. Let me show you some comments about Counter-Strike. It's not fun. It's a terrible game right now. Dead game. It sucks. Hope that game will die soon. Funny. This is not Counter-Strike anymore. I'm not gonna lie, these are some harsh comments about Counter-Strike. But you know what? These aren't comments about Counter-Strike 2. These are comments about Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Some of you probably doesn't even remember anymore, but I can remember the day of the release of Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and when I started playing this game. It got many flaws, some liked it, many hated it. And especially in the competitive and eSports scene, many thought this game was literally unplayable. And you know what? People said the same things about Counter-Strike Source. Actually, there were so many people who disliked Source that there was still a pretty active competitive scene in CS 1.6. And when CSGO was released, many kept playing and kept doing tournaments on either CSS or CS 1.6. It took quite a while and many updates until pro players thought, oh yeah, this game is playable for competitive gameplay. Some people even argue that CSGO would never got a shot in the esports scene if Valve hadn't introduced skins and cases about 1 year after release, which had definitely broadened the player base, but you shouldn't forget about all those updates regarding game and gunplay in the meantime. I think it's not that big of a deal that CS2 was released in a state where people argue that it's worse than the game used to be. I mean, I wished for a game that was clearly better than CSGO, but I'm not surprised that it's currently not, as this wasn't the case with Source and also not with Global Offensive. But there is one thing that is different this time, besides the much bigger player base and therefore high expectations from millions of players. Counter-Strike 2 is a new game in theory, but not in your Steam library. It just replaced CSGO, which is obviously good for testing and stuff, but kind of bad for the user. I mean, when CSGO was released, when you tried the game, when you noticed, oh, hey, I don't like the game, at least in its current state, you could just go back and play CS 1.6 or Source or whatever instead. But now you cannot play CSGO anymore. It doesn't matter if you don't like CS2 currently, if you find it worse than Global Offensive, if you find it unplayable, if you think that there are more cheaters or whatever. You kinda can go back over the beta tab on Steam, but you can't play online, so they basically took the game from you. And I don't think this was that smart of a move, thinking of the state the game is in, but I'm very much interested in your opinions. What do you think? Was it just way too early to release CS2, or should they have just created it as another game in your Steam library, or is it just good the way they handled all of this? Kind of like an early access Counter-Strike. Thanks for watching, and until next time.